right, welcome. We're going to start right off with our hands, eyes, and breath. So this will work fine if you have glasses on. I'm putting hands together, getting a bit of friction, and so heat. Might take me a little longer. Get whatever warmth you can, get created, and then place hands over eyes. Inhale. As if drawing that warmth directly in and around the eyeball, the eyelid, the eye muscles. Okay. That heat fades pretty swiftly, so we'll go again. Hot, hot, hot. And while you're getting the hands friction warmed, you can feel how you're pushing and getting those pecs on. And then hands over eyes. Inhale, drawing in the warmth. And feel how the eyes can soften, that the eyes can soften. We had 2 really beautiful sunny days recently. And I just kind of put my face in the sun. And it was so nice to feel the warmth on the eyeball, on the eyelid. To actually feel the the structure warming. It was such an unusual yoga that I was just walking around all day catching the sun with my face. But to feel that warmth soften and relax the eyes and the vision felt really, really good. Okay. And we'll keep the eyes relaxed, whether that's relaxed open or relaxed eyelids closed. And deepen breath. And I was talking with an herbologist friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about the properties of certain herbs and growing medicines that are super nourishing and supportive. And they're very gentle, and they have a gentle action. It was interesting to describe the motion or the movement or the activity of the interaction between the herb and the human. But it felt very much like a theme that we often will work in our practice, which is letting the body receive and absorb nourishment, and as we're kind of framing that with our breath and with our body, it's almost like the body, the skin, the muscles, the organs are catching the supportive qualities of each and every breath. It's kind of effortless reception. As long as we're aware within the breath-body contact arena, there's reception. And so we'll play with it in the body, but I'm also just, as a daily inquiry, as a contemplation, how is the light that occurs to our eyes and the things that we take into our vision, the beautiful things, the vistas, the landscapes, the people, how much of that occurs consciously as a nourishing part of our vision and vision field? So maybe you're practicing in a place that has an altar or a beautiful arrangement. Or maybe you can simply imagine that there is an altar, a picture of a beloved teacher. But what I want to ask for our practice is, can our vision nourish our current, today, body and person? Can our today body receive our vision in a nourishing way? Is it readily accepted? When I pose the question that way, we'll switch the cross of our legs. It feels very different than a goal, like setting a goal, having a goal orientation. All right. So we're going to retain the breath, just like we might hold and retain something that's really good for a moment. Okay. And we'll be working rounds of Uddiyana. So, we're going to go once more to the hands. Get them hot. Or at least a little warmer. And with the eyelids closed, place them over eyes. And we'll take one single inhalation. And if your hands aren't that warm, I'm sure you can find a little spot of greater warmth. Just breathing in through the eyelids, the eyeballs. We're going to hold our breath. We can hold our hands over our brow and our eyes. It's perfectly fine. And we can just have received that breath and warmth through the eyes. Takes no effort to retain. All right, now bring the hands forward to the ground. Swift, thorough exhalation. Stay empty. And with the feet active, we'll draw the belly in. Lifting up, so in draw, up draw. I'm drawing in from the backside, drawing in from the sides, drawing in from the front side, drawing in from beneath the pelvic floor. So Everything's converging at the core as I'm lifting. And we'll release. And when we warm the hands this time, I'm just going to have us place our hands on the temples, just in case you're not sure what's on your floor today. I'll have us warm the sides of the head, the temple area. So we'll get the hands warm. This will be our final round. Get a little bit of warmth going, and we'll place the hands beside the eyes at the temple or the brow area. Inhaling in to the eye. The eye receives the warmth. Just like the eye receives the light or receives the impression. And hold. We're going to hold the breath. Let the warmth soak into the eye area, which includes the temporal, the pineal, the eye. Then bring the hands to the ground. Swift, thorough exhalation. Stay empty. Feel, drawing in from every place in the body. From the front periphery, side periphery, back periphery, drawing in. And lifting up from the perineal. Noticing and sensing how if the eyes feel a different temperature or tone or warmth or softness, how does that let you view and sense your body? Do you feel you get a more dimensional read on your body or a more accurate read? We'll simply release when through. And taking a few breaths more as we move into some other poses. My question again is, can I have a vision that nourishes my today self, my today body, my right now person? One of my colleague friends has a funny little question that he'll ask his past self. Past self, are you having fun yet? It's just a wonderful little perspective trip to go forward, look back at your today person and just laugh at that. All right. We'll lie back. These are the games that yogis get to play, right? Okay, from back lying, we'll bring the feet off the ground. So the more I tuck my knees over my chest, my abdomen, the easier it is to feel the spine on the ground. The more I send my knees over my pelvis, away from my nose, the more consciously and connected I need to have. That connection to my abdominals needs to be more sure, more enduring, more certain. Inhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. And curl tailbone. Exhale, raise or reach the left leg outwards. Spread the foot bones. And try reaching through a different part of the foot. So if you just habitually went to a certain part of the foot, feel into just a slightly other part of the foot, maybe the midfoot or the heel. And then as you're drawing the belly in and down, feel that the eyes can be relaxed, the brow. Inhale, bend the left knee. Curl tailbone. Exhale the right leg out. You spread and open the foot. Feel into just a different part of the foot than usual. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend right knee. We'll do 3 more. Curl tailbone. Exhale, left leg out. Pull low belly down. Now, if you wanted to do these remaining with your eyes closed, might be fun, might be interesting. Inhale. Curl tailbone. Exhale, right leg reach out. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bring the knee over the pelvis. So using abdominals, keeping that back shape. Curl tailbone, exhale, reach out through left. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend left knee. Curl tailbone, exhale, reach out through right. Pull low belly down, last one each side, go for it. All right. Familiar enough. Let's enhance. When we turn over to a side and press up, we'll use the wall, and we want the wall to be able to lean our back against. A little bit like a wall sit, but we don't have to go like as deep down into the wall sit. I'm really just bending my knees enough, to feel my sacrum, my back, my spine, my lats are on the back just like they were on the ground. We're recreating that ground lying contact. There you go. So the object, if there's an object, is to keep the low back and the pelvic halves contacting the ground. Inhale into the low belly and the low back. And with your left elbow, start to lift the left elbow up and to the right. And once you start to feel a little pull or a little area of interest developing, I imagine the left side somewhere. Use your feet to press, to keep the contact of back to wall, and just deliver breath into that part of your back or your side. We're bending the arm in this pose. so that we don't have to lean as far. We'll get a nice little tensional stretch or pull by bending the elbow. Just practice precisely placing, feeling the low back receive the breath. And inhale, come upright. If you need a moment to straighten the legs, go right ahead. We'll do the other side. I hope that's just illuminates some of that sacral and low back area. All right. So I'm back in it. I'm sitting, leaning. Breathing into the back side, the sacral area, the ligaments. And then I raise my right elbow, so arm bend. And then exhale, reach up through the elbow and toward the left. So it's a side bend. I'm just using the elbow instead of the hand. Notice if you start to grab at the hip flexor, hip crease, it becomes a little challenging to feel breath in the back. And inhale, we'll come upright, we'll straighten, stand out of that. And we'll set up some dolphin. So we'll move to our mat, elbows under shoulders, knees under hips. And if you are able to feel some of those low back, deep breaths, let's just keep playing with that. Exhale the knees off the ground. We'll start with the right leg. Inhale. Into the low back. Raising the right leg. And we'll set right leg down. And switch. So breathing into that low back. Sometimes if there's a collapse sensation, I'll miss the feeling of breath in the body. So if you suddenly feel a dropout, an absence of breath sensing in the low back, you can reset. You can put the foot back down, reestablish that breath, low back contact, and then just practice feeling that connection as you raise again your leg. We can always try these things, these setups again and again. I imagine that this deep low back area is that place where, for many of us, it can get a little collapsy, like shifty. We kind of let our weight plunge down here. So this little weight shift without collapsing the low back could be fun. And inhale, we'll set the left foot down. We'll set the knees down. All right. So I want to show you a one-legged pose with the wall. And I actually don't know if this will translate well. I'm imagining that I may have a better chance at helping people into the pose if I can work with them, in person, or if I can see the position really clearly. But we'll do our best. If it's a failure, I can accept that. So I'm standing a couple feet from the wall, and I'm placing one of my feet, my right foot, against the wall. This lets me lean back. Do you see how far back my butt goes? Now, if I were to just hang out here, I'd probably feel some warmth. Okay? Then I'm going to just place my hands on my low back, just to help me connect breath right in there. And I hope you can just kind of see the shape of things. I'm not rounding my back, but it's like let's call it a half of a chair pose. So I'm going to take my hands away, just so you can see I'm not hyperextending, I'm not bowing forward. I'm kind of working this, almost like a quarter of a chair pose. I hope that's evident, right? If I were doing chair, it might be a little more like that, but I'm going to give myself this little lean back. All right, let's try it. We'll find out what we find out. If you discover you have hip muscles on the side of your butt, it's working perfectly. The distance from wall, start with 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet. Let's start with the right foot on the wall. Place your right foot on the wall. About knee height is perfect. That seems good. And you're far enough from the wall that you can feel secure leaning back into that right foot. That's it. That looks it. Yep. Good. It appears beneficial already. So the other part is to just place the backs of the hands, the knuckles, on the sacrum, on the low back area, and just to create this hand-back breath connection. And then I'll just review some details as I'm leaning back and kind of lifting my chest away from my hands. My spine is neither folded nor super arched backward. You might feel a little warmth developing in the low back muscles. As long as not painful, I imagine this will be just fine. There you go. Yes, those angles seem okay, and I'll and we'll press, set the right foot down, and we'll switch sides. Again, I'm just far enough away from the wall where my foot on the wall is letting me shift my butt back. Think of just doing a quarter of a chair pose, a quarter or half of a chair pose. And it does. It feels to me like I am reaching back, looking for a chair with my butt. Yeah. And it's really quite perfect if you feel the side of your butt working. That's wonderful. That means we are doing the thing. The knee is bent, the ground foot knee is bent, yes. Yes, there you go. Give it just a few more breath moments. Letting the back receive these deep breaths. And we'll press away, we'll stand. All right. When we move away from the wall, well, you keep using the wall if you want to use the wall. I'm going to move my mat away from the wall, turning the right foot toward the front of my mat for triangle, turning the left foot inwardly. Inhale, arms out to side. And then exhale, reaching the right hand, reaching the right ribs forward. And I'm going to attempt to find all of those little warm side butt things. As I set the hand down. And bend right knee. Inhale, place hands down, left knee down for a version of lounge lunge. I'll be a little freer with some of the details here. So if I'm creating a lot of options, feel free to explore a little bit. Part one is just top of left foot's on the ground. My left leg is walked far enough back where there's a little something to work with, a little stretch through front of left hip. And then two, usually I'd turn my chest to the right. I'll just let you play with that whole turning spectrum. If I turn, I just keep changing where I feel this in my body. So you can just let your chest face forward or toward the right. When we press back slightly, place your hands on the ground in preparation for downward dog. Additionally, set your hands for downward dog so your right shin and your right arm touch. Then inhale, curl the back toes under, relaxing the head and the neck down. Exhale, press off your knee and step the right foot back, downward dog. Yeah, we'll do those two on the other side. Inhale the left foot forward, triangle to start. exhaling, reaching forward through left hand, left side ribs. If I still have a memory feeling of the side of my butt, great. As I can encourage that side of butt, I often find I can encourage the sensing and feeling of the inner leg, the inner hip. Because not long ago we were playing with breathing into the pubic disc and that joint area. And today we're just using the side of the butt to enjoy a similar openness or freedom in this inner hip, groin, pelvic area. As I reveal, as I'm opening my body to myself, there's a greater depth that can receive kind of the nourishment of my vision, the nourishment of each and every breath. I'm just letting that nutrient, that vision nutrient, just seep into every cell that I feel, I touch, I sense. And this way we can know how our cells respond to our vision. Bend the left knee. Here's that lounge lunge. We'll place the hands down, the right knee down. Just walk the right foot back until it's appropriately lungy feeling. We can face forward or face left, just different turn, different degrees, different feeling locales. And notice to receive the breath in and with the body, it feels different. It's a different perspective taking than actively deploying breath into the body. I'll say it again. The perspective we take to receive breath, note how we're situated in our body. And feel that relationship to breath as we receive, catch, absorb, is wholly different. It's fundamentally different than when we're activating, guiding our breath to go into the body. They're different. They're different perspectives. You'll feel a little shift. You'll feel a different, it's a stance. It's its own, it's a perspectival stance or posture. Inhale, unwind. We'll place the hands down in preparation for downward dog. Additional note, left shin touch left arm. In that way, as we exhale, pressing up, pressing back. Gently set your knees down. Grab a strap and we'll form a loop a little bit wider than our shoulder width. I'm going to use this. I just have my loops already made in this thing. Okay. So just a little bit wider than shoulder width. Okay. The wider you go, it could be easier on the front or the top of the shoulder. And then let's step back over toward a wall. Let me show you first so you can see and know if you can start to predict changes if you need. I'm going to walk right up to the wall. On my first move, so maybe my hands touch the wall long before my belly or my nose would. That's perfect. That's where I'd go. And then I'm drawing outward my wrists. I'm making the strap taut. And then lifting my strap and my thumbs just slightly back. So the reason I'm standing so close to the wall is so that I can notice if I start bending my spine to imagine I'm moving my arms. If I get really close visually to the wall, I'll feel and know if I'm moving my arms independently or if I'm trying to move my whole body. Okay, so let's try it out. I'll talk us in again. I've got a wider than shoulder loop. Walk very close to the wall. You don't have to touch it or smush yourself. Straighten the arms. So I want you to go wide enough that you can straighten your arms, activate those triceps. Pull out against the strap. So strap becomes just mildly tensioned. And then looking, just sensing your distance from the wall, keep it. And then inhale as you draw out on the strap. Lift your hands away from the wall, just a teeny tiny bit. A little goes a long way. Exactly, that door frame is perfect. That door frame is or window frame is perfect. Okay, this may feel activating in the mid-back. That's great. We'll give it a few more breath moments. I'm hoping we get into the mid-back with this. You can also touch your low ribs to the wall. And release. Okay, we'll let the strap go down and we'll press back into downward dog. We don't have that nice feedback in downward dog of how our torso is rotating or bending. But, you know, I'm breathing into the mid-back, arms outstretched, triceps engaged. So you could feel the drawing apart action of the strap here in downward dog. And then it's just that little extra rotation wrap that gets that upper back even broader. All right, half moon. Inhale the right foot forward. If you like black, grab a block. I know it was a while ago, but part of that standing on one leg earlier was to just create a little more brightness and aliveness in that side of hip. So feel for those nice little side butt muscles helping you out here in this half moon. There you go. Yes, yes, yes. Because when you use those side butt muscles, when you feel them as a part of the pose, it may help you feel the inner leg and the inner hip crease as being less compressed or collapsed. It's one of the hopes. Now send that left forefoot straight away from the abdomen. And inhale, set that left foot down, hands down. And for the moment, let's set the knee down. We're going to do just one little tidbit from that Ekapada Bakasana. So we'll touch the right shin to the right tricep, plant the hands, exhale, press the left knee off the ground, sustain the contact, shin and tricep, pick that right foot up, deep breath. And then exhale, step that right foot back, downward dog. Just one little extra sustained moment. All right, half moon. Inhale, step the left foot forward. The how to feel that side butt helping you out here can be activated with precise pressure in the left foot. To me, it feels like outer edge heel, big toe ball mount. That diagonal seems relevant to feeling the outer hip. If I have my knee locked, I won't really catch it. It'll just feel kind of jointy. And stretching that right forefoot away from your guts. To holding that wonderful, wonderful left butt muscle, holding that stably on and reaching that right leg away from your abdomen. All right, inhale, we'll bring the right foot down, the hands down. Do a sustained ekapada move. Left shin, left tricep. When you're ready, press, elevate the left foot. We'll stay for 1 or 2 breaths. Just keeping the touch. And then pressing back, downward dog. I didn't get to see you on that one, so I hope it worked out. All right. I'm going to do one more wall work. So set knees down or stand, however you want to rest. I love half moon the way we usually do it. And then there's days I love a little bit more doing it this way. So when I face the wall, I'll do it on both walls. I'm using my hand to just push right out in front of me. Not push, but just rest into the wall and get really stable. So let's say, let me do my right foot first. Okay, this is our usual setup for half moon. But if I take just a little bit of an arm's distance, my arm is straight. Now I can use both of my hands pushing out. I can get ultra stable. I can push with my left hand enough where I start to feel my butt. Okay. So my hands are So if you have that kind of wall space, let's do that. We'll face the wall. Oh, I'll do it on this surface too so you can see. Okay. I would say I'm 2 feet from the wall. I have long arm limbs. Okay. Bring your block. I'll take a look and see if I'm being clear enough. So the purpose of putting the hand on the wall is to carefully move my weight back into my hip. There you go. That's it. Yes. That's a do. Play with the distance. Mm-hmm. And it also eliminates the weather veining that we sometimes do in half moon where we're kind of spinning around on our hip axis. As I steady myself, pressing with both hands, now I can reach that left leg with ever more vibrancy. In this condition of extra stability, I can afford reaching through that left leg ever more. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. And if you want to reach like quarter moon, you want to start to bend that knee and reach back, that's really fun too. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. And I just wanted you to have this little tool for getting really deeply into the gut, in front of the low back, around the hip, around the navel. Inhale, let the left foot down. And as we prepare for the other side, I'll just point on myself where I think you might be able to create a bias sensation. Yeah, right in this. There you go. Cool. Let's just make a simple switch to the other side. The only little other detail I like to add is when my hand's on the wall is generally somewhere over my hip. All right, so we've got the left foot down on the ground. We're facing the wall, 2 feet distance from the wall. Elevating right foot. Right palm, creating just a delicate little brace. And as I just press out a little bit with each of my palms, like a little pushing apart, and create enormous stability. Yep, it lets you place your weight over the foot, over the hip. And that enormous stability lets you reach fairly through right leg. And do explore. If you want to bend that right knee and reach, arch that thigh away from the abdomen. If you love the way that feels in your abdominal guts area, go for it. Receiving the breath with the abdomen, receiving the breath with our body, receiving the breath down to the blood, down to the bone. And inhale, we'll set that right foot down. And we'll just press back one final time into downward dog. So we'll just sidle on back to our mat, press back. And softly place knees down. Have a seat or a lying down position that affords you just these next several moments of kinetic stillness. So Shavasana lying or seated, pardon me. We just want the position to afford us a moment to absorb, regard, acknowledge. These handful of thematic practices, it's my interpretation, my understanding, that each of them helps us fundamentally take on a different perspective, posture, a different posture of mind. Reception is one of these fundamental postures. And as we situate in this where we're enacting, receiving each breath, receiving the nutrients of all these poses and this discipline of arriving on the mat, as we're receiving those benefits, There's a particular stance. It's a posture we take. It can be massively nourishing, supporting. And to me, it has a deep sense of wonder. Because you never really know what is arriving, showing up to be noticed. When you're ready, we'll bend knees. We'll turn to a side and press up. And of course, as we just keep playing together, over time, I'll do my best to ensure that we're playing with these other fundamental postures, right? Perspective postures. Namaste. All right. Have a day.